Heading to the California high desert for some winter backpacking adventure, we were surprised when snow hit the ground of Joshua Tree National Park, and it stayed on the ground for our New Year's Eve celebrations. The first step in our trip was to stage a vehicle at our endpoint and cache water at 2 different locations along the trail. We then headed to the north entrance of the park and started our hike at a little under 3,000 feet of elevation. The total length of our trip would end up being about 29 miles. We would follow the California Riding and Hiking Trail, which is a through trail of the northernmost part of the national park, for the first couple of days. But by the 3rd day, we had seen enough of that and decided to find a little bit more adventure. We spent a lot of time on day 1 weaving in and out of roadways and parking lots. It wasn't exactly the backcountry adventure that the 3 of us are accustomed to. Nonetheless, we were able to find a quaint little camp spot nestled in an outcrop of rocks to ring in the new year in a beautiful location and in great company.
Always have that experience that once you eat something you feel totally different. It's just not time. New Year's.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm gonna have my ramen just to be safe.
What's the alternative that's
Well,
not
I
safe?
have this meal I've never tried before.
Oh, okay.
So I think for my New Year's Eve meal, I want to make sure it's something that I like.
I love this. I love being here with people who will have ramen for their New Year's meal.
Yeah.
Happy New Year from Joshua Tree National Park. We are waking up after a very cold and blustery night here in the park. It was supposed to only get down to about 41 degrees, but the consensus amongst the group is that it felt much colder than that. I used my new tent for the first time last night. I have the Nemo Hornet one-person tent, and I can't give a fair assessment of the tent because we were not able to really stake down our tents last night. So I used rocks to hold down the rainfly as best as I could, but the rocks here, even though some of them were quite large, are not heavy, and they could not stand up to the winds. So at a little after 1 a.m. I got up and fixed my rainfly that had half fallen off, and then at about 5:30 a.m. I woke up, peeked my head out of my sleeping bag because I felt something strange happening with my tent, and realized that I could see all of the stars in the sky, and my rainfly had come off almost entirely. It was connected just a little bit, just laying on the ground, so fortunately I didn't have to get out and hunt for it in the dark. But yeah, hopefully tonight we will have a better chance to stay out, but really, who knows. Yesterday we hiked just 10.7 miles with 1,588 feet in elevation gain. By the time we made it to our water cache yesterday, which is a little bit more than 7 miles into our hike, I had almost no need to touch the water. In fact, I probably didn't. And again today I believe we have about 7 more miles to our water cache from camp, and I will probably only need to resupply a little bit of water. I think that that's probably extremely rare for this hike. For this through hike, water caches will be essential for most days of the year where it's not these cold temperatures and snow. Snow is a pretty rare occurrence here in Joshua Tree, and I do feel quite lucky to be experiencing it on the ground here as we are hiking part of the California Hiking and Riding Trail.
So I think I had us going down here to Lost Horse Mine, but the trail goes up here, and I think we should go there to get our water probably.
Okay.
So we don't do extra miles.
Yes. Okay. Sounds good. Well, Jarl has picked out a wonderful campsite for us, and I think we're going to be able to stake in tonight, which is good, although there's very little wind, so it's kind of funny how that worked out. But yeah, it's been a good day of hiking, and it's time to set up our tents.
You threw away yours?
Yeah.
We had like 130 candy bar wrappers.
Yeah.
So.
Did you figure out that thing? Did you try it?
No.
Nah.
I'll just do it another time. Or never. Because, I mean, realistically too, I know myself. I'm pretty lazy. I'm not gonna ever be like, oh, I really need this like ½ inch of extra space inside.
Yeah, exactly. Huh. It's still weird. But
I am curious about it, so I'll find out. Like I
think
YouTube
I've
it.
seen those tents having having two lines going to the same.
So that makes sense on
Stake?
that side.
Yeah.
But this one
It doesn't make sense.
doesn't reach to anything.
Weirdness.
Because I've seen them too where they reach to the inside of the rainfly.
Yep.
And there's like a hook there.
Exactly.
But I don't have that.
Okay, time to cool the last beer and
The morning of day 3 had us heading off trail and across country to a primitive trail running through Jonny Lane Canyon. It is a route I'd had my eye on for about a year, as I felt that it was something that was manageable for me to route find on my own as kind of a beginner. I still don't know for sure if I would have had the courage to explore it if Jarl hadn't been able to join us on our trip, but I knew that he was capable of finding the way. And as he led the way, my thought process was still actively engaged, and I was seeing if I would make the same decisions that he did.
Time for a snack break.
I'm glad I could show you the way down, Jarl. Yeah, I've done that a couple of times today. Oh yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
I'm a little scared. Come down this way.
Yeah.
There's no camera on it this time. Just don't stroll in the park.
Oh.